answering.
Thank you. So Jeff, I know we are at the 9:59 mark.
Yep, we have a few
And,
participants actually just starting to join.
Okay,
We got 11 attendees. We have joined already.
terrific. Okay, so should we wait a couple more minutes just to allow everybody to?
Sure, that sounds good. We got a little extra time this time, so that's good.
We have a little extra time this time, I think.
Yeah, how much time did you allot, Mohammed?
2 hours.
You put 2
Yeah.
hours on there. I won't go that long, but I promise. I'll try to
Okay.
keep it,
Good.
won't get carried away.
I think I saw Thursa also join us.
At Thirst, I sent an invite to, she'll be starting the transition next month with me. Rachel's going out there next week and we'll start our transition going.
Okay, terrific.
Hi, Thursa.
Jeff, I believe I see Angela Porter. She raised her hand.
Oh yeah, I see she just raised her hand. I'm gonna turn her microphone on real quick, okay?
Okay.
All right, Angela, your speaker just turned on, so you can speak.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to raise my hand. I was trying to move I have dual monitors and I was trying to move this over so that I could be facing the camera, but it's not allowing me to move. I think I'm gonna sign off and sign back on.
Okay, no problem. I know it's the buttons are all different in Teams and Zoom and everything. No worries.
Yeah, okay, sorry about that.
I do see people.
Print out.
So Mohammed, today hopefully we'll have multiple WIBs and job centers on the line, right?
Correct.
Good. Okay.
Yep.
If Pamela Rosa just raised her hand, I can turn her microphone on.
Okay.
Hey, Pamela, your microphone is on.
Hi, my name is Pamela Rosa, as you said. Although I do work for the Northwest Connecticut Chamber of Commerce, I am working on a grant from the Northwest Regional Workforce Investment Board, and I'm sitting in with one of my colleagues who will be on momentarily, Jenny Fonseca, who represents NRWIB. I just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying, Pamela. Welcome. We see Diana Napier too. Napier. Sorry if mine misspelled.
All right, yeah, Diana just raised her hand. I'm going to turn her microphone on.
Okay.
Now with the workplace.
Hi, Diana.
Hey, Carla, how are you?
Long time no hear. I hope you are well.
Yeah, I'm doing well. Hope you are as well.
Good. Say hello to everyone.
I will.
Okay. 10:04. We'll give it a go at 10:05.
Okay.
I see a lot of names I recognize. This brings me a great deal of pleasure. So, colleagues in the field that I haven't seen in a while. So this is great. What's the count, Jeff? How many we have so far, please?
We're at 31 attendees.
Okay,
That's
well,
great.
this is awesome. Okay, so I'm pretty sure people will still log in as we speak. At the time of 10:05. This session is being recorded as an ongoing resource available to all of us in this state of Connecticut to help inform future job seekers that are interested in career in DOT. So thank you for accepting and being okay for this to get recorded. My name is Mohammed Chowki. I'm the business engagement lead here at Capital Workforce Partners. I'm also the business partnership coordinator supporting the transportation distribution logistics. The last time we did an event like this, it was geared towards our North Central region colleagues and staff who interface with job seekers. And this was back in February 22nd. I'm very happy that we're doing this in the spring, although it's a rainy day here in Connecticut. But this is an opportunity to have this information available to the frontline staff at the American Job Centers, at the workforce boards, and perhaps even other organizations who interface with job seekers to help inform about these job opportunities at Department of Transportation. And this is why we're having this available as a recording for future events, just so to help people be informed. Things that we're trying to address today is learn about the DOT careers, learn about the opportunities, how to apply for them, learn on all the types of positions available, seasonal versus permanent, learn about the career paths and kind of not make state jobs intimidating to the public. I know they have their own process, and that's why we have Dan Callahan and his team here with us. I know Carlo Leone, their side here as well from Department of Transportation. I'm very grateful that they put this presentation together. I'm very happy that we are collaborating on this effort to help fill all the jobs they have. Well, let me take some of the pressure off. I won't say all, but I'll say a lot of the jobs they have. And I'll pass the microphone to Dan to get started on his presentation. We will take some questions as long as they're relative to the slide that Dan is speaking to. And if you want to keep your questions towards the end, we can also do that. We have allotted 2 hours for this presentation. We don't have to stay the whole 2 hours, but in case we do, we have enough time to cover all the questions. So without further ado, I'll pass the microphone back to Dan, and we'll get started.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. I'm Dan Callahan. I work on workforce development for the Department of Transportation. I'm a retiree. I used to be the assistant personnel director here, human resources director. And I've got Thurston Hinson with me, who's going to be taking over this role this year as I kind of phase out later on in the fall. But this is a great opportunity. We've been working with Mohammed, Carlo and I, and Thursa over the last 6-7 months. And we've done a lot of good things with Capital Workforce Partners, and we're very excited today to see everybody out there. The presentation today is going to be basically informative and really interactive. So if anybody has any questions, I think they can be moderated through the chat. I think your microphones are off, but if you have any questions that come up during the slide presentation, please let us know. And we'll go through this, and then I'd like to have a healthy dialogue at the end of it too, as far as any thoughts on partnerships and different types of things we can do. But at DOT, we've got a great need for workforce staffing as we go into the future. We've got a number of things going on, and I'll go over our agenda real quick and what we want to accomplish today. We want to give you an overview of the career opportunities here at DOT. We're going to talk about the highway maintenance and skilled trades careers, especially. Those are places that we are looking to recruit from. I know Mohammed's the head of the transportation sector for Capital Workforce Partners. The CDL programs that have been going on throughout the state have been a great benefit to us, I think, and can be a great benefit to us with the people looking for jobs out of the American Job Centers. Once they earn that CDL, that is a very valuable commodity for them, and they can not only work for us, but can work for a bunch of different agencies. But we will have a posting for statewide transportation maintainer twos coming up next month. We're hiring seasonal workers right now. And in the beginning of May, we're going to be putting out a statewide for CDL drivers. So we'll be touching on that definitely. There's also trades, the mechanics program we've been pretty innovative with. We've started hiring people without CDLs. We've got in-house training for those people, and those positions are definitely plentiful also. Other DOT career opportunities, we're a big agency, and we'll get into that in the different types of jobs that we have. We'll talk about, finding for the posted state jobs, finding them, applying for them, that type of stuff. I want to go over some interviewing tips, some preferred criteria, minimize, minimum and preferred criteria and what that means when you're applying for a job, when your clients are applying for a job, the interview and selection process. The timeframes. I mean, Mohammed has made it, it's dawned on me as we've gone through this that our timeframes aren't the best for, your services, because in the end, the hiring a state job, we're very thorough. There's a lot of checks and balances as we go into the hiring process, and it can take months sometimes to hire people who apply originally, several months prior by the time we make the final job offer. So we want to try to streamline that as much as possible and talk about that. Special requirements for DOT jobs. We'll also talk about strategic partnerships and maybe creating a pipeline, distribution lists, that type of stuff, and then we'll open up the discussion at the end. So I want to start off by talking about the state of Connecticut. Why state employment? There are a lot of fairly obvious benefits of being a state employee. One of those being benefits, the insurances, the different time offs, the holidays, the overtime pay, that type of stuff that comes with being a state employee. It's a very it's a unionized environment. There are a lot of rights for the employees. There are long-term career type positions. I came here 37 years ago, I guess it was, when I first started, and I've retired since. But I thought, this might work out. If it doesn't work out, I'll go bartend on the Cape. And 34 years later, I was retiring from the state of Connecticut, having been a human resources director and assistant director. So it's a very beneficial. It's got a great career path. It also, there are 35,000 state employees overall. There are all kinds of different agencies you can work for. We're one of the largest employers in the state. We've got, when I looked this morning, we had 3,250 employees that are working for DOT right now. So we're a large employer, and there's a lot of opportunity there. Again, the benefits are great. And in 2027, we're going to have another retirement cliff coming up with a change in the pension plan. So there's a lot of room for upgrowth as you go through, as we're going to be losing people again, as we did in 2022 when I retired. Every 5 years or so, we have one of these cliffs come up, and there are a lot of people that go through their retirement cycles and leave a lot of opportunity for upward mobility and new hires. So what we can offer you, I kind of hit on a bunch of those, but we've received national recognition for offering job growth, competitive. We won a lot of awards. DOT especially is a very progressive employer. We've got a lot of different types of membership groups and different types of things where we are a destination employer is what we like to think of ourselves as. So right now with the infrastructure bill, we in particular have received a lot of money to build bridges, to build highways, to improve roads around the state of Connecticut. Also on public transportation, electric vehicles, we're all, neck deep in that every day. And we've got a $2.2 billion budget. So we've got a lot of money that is coming our way. We employ a lot of subcontractors also on top of our workforce that I just talked about with our over 3,000 people working. We got a platinum healthcare plan. I mean, I benefited from it with my family as far as the medical benefits that we have. We are a gold plate, platinum type of healthcare plans, so, we've got a lot of benefits that you don't get with other types of insurance plans for private employers. You get, as far as no copays on some things, $15 copays on doctor's visits, that type of stuff. So it's very reasonable stuff. And there are a lot of services. My daughter had, occupational, even like occupational writing and different types of stuff when she was young in elementary school, that we, most people don't benefit from, that we get to put people in those programs that are in our families. So that's a great benefit. We got paid time off. We got 14 paid holidays. So we have a generous time off plan. We have vacation, we have sick leave, and we have a retirement plan, which a lot of people don't have. It is evolving, the retirement plan. It is, still as good as anyone out there, but, it's not just a 401k where you set aside, but we have, for long-term employees, we have the opportunity to retire. And we've certainly benefited from that. Our employees do. We're eligible for public service for paying back student loans in some occasions. So there is a loan forgiveness type plan, and a healthy work-life balance in all our different types of things. We have really embraced telework over the last several years. So we have a lot of hybrid positions in our administrative range. Some of the positions I'll talk about today are highway maintenance workers, which are, they have to be out there on the roads every day. But they get premium pay for different types of things when they're doing snow work and, when the rest of the state is closed, we're out there plowing the roads and doing different types of things to keep the state moving. Any questions, or we good? I'll move on to the next slide. So this is the Department of Transportation. So we basically, as I said, as of today, we had 3,250 employees. I know when I wrote this back in the fall, it was 3,121 back then. So we have 3,250 people working for us, and we have about, I think the last I looked, counting the seasonal workers, I think we have over 550 vacancies right now. So we're always hiring. We're looking for people, but we're looking for people in all different types of facets. We have a Bureau of Engineering and Construction, which is, probably one of our most visible bureaus. We're out there designing roads, redesigning roads, building bridges. The Q Bridge down in New Haven was one of our biggest projects over the last couple decades. Major construction projects throughout the state. And we employ numerous subcontractors to do those. We oversee those. Right now, engineering is one of our biggest recruitment areas. I know that doesn't really match up that much with American Job Centers. I'm sure you don't have that many engineers out there as your clients, but that is a challenge for us. That's a separate piece of what I've been doing. I've been concentrating on the maintenance and the transportation maintainers and the mechanics in our department, our machine shop people. And that's part of our Bureau of Highways. So the Bureau of Highways has about 1,500 employees, I believe. So I can't see the number right now. 1,509 we had. And so those basically, we have garages all across the state. So we've got probably a total of 60 maintenance garages across the state. And that includes also including specialties. It gets up towards about 80 garage locations throughout the state. So we are everywhere from the northwest corner up in Winchester down to Darien in the southwest corner, up to Putnam in the northeast and down to Groton down in the southeast. So we are statewide. You know, we are near the main highways, usually our locations, but we also have out in the country also. So we do state roads, all state roads and federal highways are our responsibility in the Bureau of Highway Operations and Maintenance. We've got a huge finance department. I said we had $2.2 billion budget. So we do a lot of federal billing. We do a lot of payments, accounts payable to contractors, accounts receivables. We have a large business office. I would say probably the largest in the state. So there are a lot of administrative positions available. That includes clerical positions also, payroll positions, all kinds of different variety of positions. Then we have the Bureau of Public Transportation, which does our Metro North. You know, those services are vital to the state of Connecticut, especially as we, go through that corridor basically to, for the commuters going to New York, between New Haven and New York. It really kind of shrunk during the pandemic. Is again, a big point of emphasis for us is improving public transportation. And we have a number of employees that are employed out there too. It's a smaller branch. We do not do Connecticut Transit, so we don't hire the bus drivers, but we oversee Connecticut Transit and the services they provide throughout the state of Connecticut. We also have a Bureau of Policy and Planning, which again, I don't know if you'd have a lot of people that are in that field, but they are engineering types, planning types, GPS mapping types that work in our policy and planning division. So that's pretty much an overview of the Department of Transportation. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. So as we go through DOT opportunities, as I spoke about, we have highway maintenance careers. That's pretty much what I've been involved in since I've retired. I've done a CDL licensing programs with Affordable and Allstate as two of our main subcontractors that we had originally. We did an agreement with the union to basically hire mechanics. We had 36 mechanic vacancies throughout the state out of 96 positions at one time. So we were very, very hard pressed on staffing. Mechanics are hard to get. We decided to invest in their CDL licenses, and we did not require them to get them. We need them to pull the trucks off the road sometimes or take them out after they fix them. And so they have to have a CDL has always been the requirement. We decided that during this first 6 months, we would invest in first private contractors, driving schools that did their licensing. Worked out great. We've had, when I just looked, we had 7 vacancies right now when I looked last week. So we have vastly improved our fleet operations. So in that area, we have 4,200 licensed vehicles. We have everything from payloaders to excavators to tractor trailers for some specific stuff in bridge, and our big orange dump trucks are now white dump trucks as we've got the new ones coming in are all white. Mostly are automatic transmission, but again they require CDL drivers for those positions. I am working on an apprenticeship program which will not require a CDL. We're meeting tomorrow with the union for our 3rd meeting to try to finalize the agreement that we started in February. Negotiating, we have a 7-page agreement that we're working on with Department of Labor and our staff in the union to come to a final conclusion on hopefully tomorrow. Skilled trades career, not just mechanics, but we also have masons, we have carpenters, we have welders, we have a machine shop. We have a state-of-the-art machine shop in Rocky Hill. So we do a bunch of different types of trades. Electrical, we have a lot of people that work on the electrical poles. They don't have to be licensed electricians to be that, but they do have to have the electrical background to work on those. Public transportation careers, we've talked about. We have rail workers. We have people that go in and inspect all the rail cars, do that type of stuff. We don't actually have the Metro North employees, but we oversee them and have a large role in regulating them. administrative and support careers. We've got everything from human resources, which I do, payroll, and again, a huge business office. IT, we are, state-of-the-art IT. We have a division. A lot of the people work under DAS now. But basically, we have a large IT people that are on our premises that work for another agency and do a lot of our IT work. Policy and planning, intern opportunities. We've expanded interns greatly. So we have both college interns. I've started a high school intern program that we're working with primarily with the CTEC schools. It has worked out great. And then we have the seasonal workers that are working right now. It's a great way for people to get their foot in the door. Okay. I hit on pretty much the highway maintenance careers. I will say that the maintainers that we're looking for, that we're going to post statewide next month, start at $26.98 hourly. So they're good jobs. They are 40 hours in nature, Monday through Friday. There are, as I said, during the snow season, especially, there's a lot of overtime. Some of it is mandatory overtime to plow our roads. That's all time and a half time. Anything over 40 hours is time and a half in the state of Connecticut with the bargaining units. We also have, the trades repair crews that are on there. We have transportation supervisor assistants. So we have people in every garage. As I said, we have over 100 transportation supervisor assistants that run the garages. Basically, they do the billing, they do the different materials ordering for the jobs, they run the garages, time and attendance. Those are jobs that we're looking for to fill often. And then we have rest area attendants. Their hourly rates are up there. The transportation supervisor assistants started over $22 an hour. And the rest area attendants start over $20 an hour. So we run all the rest areas that are, run by the state throughout the state of Connecticut in the 95 corridor, 84 in the main highways. Okay, any questions? All righty. Skilled trades careers, I kind of jumped ahead on that. We got the mechanics, electrical workers, machine shop staff, highly skilled tree climbers. I didn't talk about the tree climbers. So if you got people out there who've done tree work, we're looking to get them on board. They're very valuable to us. Heavy equipment operators, welders, masons, carpenters. They all, we work them throughout the state. Some are we need more of some from the outside than we do. A lot of these sometimes will be advanced jobs that are posted within the state too, to give promotional opportunities once people get in the door. So again, the main, we have a little under 1,000 employees that are transportation maintainers. Usually about 900 of our 3,500 employees start at that maintainer 2 job that's going to be posted next month with the CDL drivers. So I'll make sure I'm on the right slide here. Okay, I do want to talk about preparing for the interviews. The interviews are probably one of the most important things that we do. It's not that we do, but that your clients will be involved in. If they're applying for a state job, and I'm sorry, I think I jumped ahead a little bit here. I thought I did. I'm going to talk about applying for a state job first. How to find posted state jobs. So I'm assuming you guys are familiar with the state of Connecticut's DAS website that's called Job Apps. There's a QR code on the presentation. If it's sent out to you, it basically leads you right to the job apps. Every state job has to be posted on this website. And then people have to apply through the job app system. There's no other way to apply for a state job. So that is sometimes, somewhat difficult for people that aren't familiar with it. I don't think it's the easiest user-friendly type thing. I think it's much better than it used to be. Until 2017, we still use paper applications. We were the last state in the country to still use paper applications that you would send to DAS at Capitol Avenue to apply for a job, which was really, we were way behind it. So we centralized that and went to a digital system, which is called Job Apps. And it has become much easier to apply for state jobs. But the main thing is that candidates have to register on the Job App system. So, that is the main thing, is getting them in the system. And once they get a master application, that allows them to then apply for any of the posted state jobs just by changing the title and maybe, emphasizing the preferred criteria for the particular job they're applying for. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But the key to me is for people who want to get employment with the state to get their master application in there, to get registered with Job Apps with their password and their profile, and basically get themselves into that system. And once you get into the system, it's very easy to apply for multiple jobs. I think that's one of the keys for people that are seeking jobs with the state of Connecticut. And it may be a barrier if they don't get registered, they can't get in. So they find a position they're interested, they click, apply online, and then they have to fill out a bunch of information about themselves. They get to get a new user login. They need to register with the system. Only apply to locations you can, work at. So when you're putting in for any type of job, you don't want to, a lot of people check off every place in the state, but obviously they don't want to commute from Putnam to Darien. If the job's in Darien, they're probably not going to take it. So you really need to look at the location on the job posting as to whether you're, viable to go there. When we post the transportation maintainers, the transportation maintainer 2 that we're going to post next month, that's going to be statewide. So those are going to be the 80 locations. So people put in for that, and then we sort the interviews. We do statewide interviews, and then they're eligible for whatever they live within 20 miles of for the maintenance garages. So we have a residency require that because you have to respond in off hours and different types of things. You need to live within 20 miles of the garage you're assigned to. So normally people live within 2 to 3 different types of garages from commuting distance. In our specialty shops, our range is 30 miles. So you can live 30 miles from a repair shop, a bridge assignment, and those types of things. Any questions on the state job application process, or any comments?
Dan?
Yes.
Hear me? Yeah. Can someone apply for multiple jobs in case they see themselves a fit for that? Or
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you can have people that once they get in, you need to just put the job number that is posted. There's a job number on every posting. So it'll say 2345 dash whatever the state job class is, which is a 4-digit number with a bargaining unit code after it that basically corresponds to the pay plan. So it'll say FM for transportation maintainer. And I believe it's 3241 or there's a 4-digit code. So you have to put that on your app. You're applying for the transportation maintainer 2, and then you can apply for, you can apply for that position. And then you can put in, so you have secretarial skills 2, and you've got a CDL. You could put in for a secretary 1 at Department of Public Health. You could put in for whatever jobs you qualify for, you can put in at any time. So you can have multiple jobs going at the same time. Yes.
Excellent. For anyone that has any other questions while Dan is presenting, just raise your hand, and Jeff will open the microphone for you. I know the setup is a webinar, but we can do that. I see a question coming from Kimball. Hi, Kimball, long time. Her question says, once you register in the job apps system, does it ever expire? Great question.
No, your registration doesn't expire, but once you apply for a job, so say in May, you apply for the Transportation Maintainer 2, and they certified a list on May 15th or May 30th, whenever they close that job. You then have a year. So for that particular job that you applied for, you're eligible to be appointed to that job for a year after they close it out. DAS, the closing date comes and goes. They send the agency a certified list within 5 days, probably of that time. And on that date, DAS certifies the list, say it's May 30th. May 30th of 2025, that list will have been expired. There are situations where we ask to expand that for an extra year. I think we can go an extra year right now. So we can keep it open for 2 years. So say we have 400 people apply and we say, oh, we hired 90 during the year. But we still have, 50 viable candidates. And we're not ready to post yet again. We can sometimes ask to extend that list, but almost all cases it expires after 1 year for that job. Your master application stays in the system for the whole time. So when the new job comes up, you can just hit the code. Maybe if you've got a little different experience than you had last time, you update your app and you send it off to that job posting. So once you register, you're in the system for good. For each job is 1 year after it closes.
Excellent. I see Barbara Green raised her hand. Jeff, if you want to open the microphone for Barbara, that'd be great.
All right, Barbara, you're unmuted.
Oh, hi, thank you. I see a lot of Connecticut careers trainee titles before the regular title. Can you explain what that means and how it differs from the other postings?
Sure. So Connecticut Career Trainee, I came in as a Connecticut Career Trainee back in 1987 with a target class of, at that time, Personnel Officer 1. And so what it is it was originally designed for college graduates. So you have to have a degree originally. I think they've changed that since then. You don't necessarily have to have a degree, but you have to have the experience and training that's in that particular one. We use them quite a lot for business office positions, fiscal administrative officers. So a lot of times a fiscal administrative officer will retire or leave our job, get promoted somewhere else, and the vacancy will come up. So then we normally, the entry level ends up being CCT. So that's a 1 or a 2 year program where you apply and you're paid a pretty good rate. It's in the 40s, I think, mid 40,000s for an annual salary. And then once you complete that training program, which can be, like I said, 1 year or 2 years, you then become a full-fledged fiscal administrative officer. Let's say in a fiscal class, there's a target class. So it'll say, we also do it for our I just noticed we did it for our the GPS people. So we map now. We have a big mapping in our planning department. We've got a lot of new with the digital mapping, and there's actually degrees for those. I think it's called the GPS or whatever. But you end up being whatever, a transportation planner 1 or whatever that target class is in there. So it's a career trainee for professional series is probably the best way I could put it. And so once you achieve that, you get a pretty good size raise once you complete that 1 year program, and you get raises along the way. So if you're in a 2 year program, you'll go from step 1 to step 3 in the salary plan for Connecticut Career Trainee after 1 year. And then, any annual increments or whatever the state gets as a general raise, you also get. So it's just basically a training program geared towards professionals. And I don't think a college degree is a requirement anymore. They were about 2 years ago, they did away with that. I think they were trying to remove a barrier on that. So you could have experience, say bookkeeping or whatever it may be for the fiscal jobs.
We have Diana Napier has raised their hand. I'm going to give their microphone permission.
Thank you.
I just wanted to find out are there opportunities for returning citizens?
Or returning citizens?
Yeah. Someone
Uh,
who has been, issues with the justice system, might have been incarcerated.
Oh, recidivism. Yes, I did work for the Department of Corrections for 24 years before I came here. Yes, they are. So we do not bar incarcerated or not people who've left incarceration or been convicted of crimes.
Okay.
However, we do background checks. So a lot of it is weighed on when was the crime, what's the experience afterwards. So again, we're going to want, some landscaping, some whatever for like a maintainer, let's say,
Mhm.
we're going to want some kind of landscaping abilities or construction ability or whatever they've been working at, and a CDL. But if they have that and say they have a conviction from 10 years ago or whatever it may be, did time and come out, that does not bar them from doing it. But if they have, if they have pending charges or if they've got convictions that are recent, that will weigh into the decision as part of the background check that we do.
Thank you.
So it does not bar former felons or people who've been incarcerated for lower crimes either.
Thanks.
Dan, there was a time when you and I, Thursa and Carlo, we spoke about how sometimes someone navigating the job opportunities that Department of Transportation have available, they don't apply because they feel like we don't have the required skills, and I'm not going to be considered anyways. While in the reality, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, there are jobs that this area of requirements, if you can speak to it, that would be great.
Yeah, well, for the maintainer series especially, the requirements are fairly low. So you have to have, like I said, some kind of landscaping. I don't got the job spec up in front of me right now for that. But it is, it's a year requirement, and we've even gone farther with the apprenticeship program. It's really just the skill sets, and we're taking people in. When that gets announced, we're expecting a pretty large, application pool based on the fact that we've had the CDL as a requirement. So this is to train people over a 1-year period. Same thing for a lot of the lower entry-level jobs, rest area attendant, transportation maintainer too. So any kind of, you see it, cleaning. I see it a lot on the seasonal applications I just looked at. They are, cleaning up workplaces, doing different types of things, janitorial work, that type of stuff. Any kind of experience, you really should be, when you're looking at them, look at, how that fits, because a lot of times people count themselves out on it just because they read our job descriptions are like, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that. You need skills, knowledge, and abilities. We write really long job specs in the state of Connecticut. But when you get down to it, the key piece is the minimum experience and training. And so a lot of times that's less than a year of whatever, especially for the entry level jobs that I'm talking about, as far as, those ones that I put up there, rest area attendant, transportation maintainer 2, transportation supervisors, assistant is a little different. It's got more administrative type work. So really they kind of run the business. But if you worked at a business and you kind of ran the scheduling for a tree company or whatever you might have done, that can translate into a transportation supervisor's assistant that doesn't run the garage, but they work for the general supervisor and are really the right hand in those garages and are very important to us.
We have Cordelia Gomez has raised her hand. Cordelia, I'm turning your microphone on.
Yes, hi, hello.
Hi, Cordelia.
Hi. Okay, so I was just asking, I wanted to ask about the other educational requirements. I know that you mentioned that they're not necessarily requiring college degrees, But what if we have a participant that maybe does not have a high school diploma or a GED? Would they still be eligible for any of the positions?
I believe they are for the transportation maintainer too. I don't think high school was a requirement. And Thursa, I don't know if Thursa, if you're out there, I'm trying to see if I've got a I know for the seasonal workers, it's not, because I'm even looking at high school kids. I don't know if I can pivot off this quick. But I believe the transportation maintainer too, Thursa, if I'm not incorrect, I don't think it requires a high school diploma. I'm almost positive of that, but I'm gonna look it up right now, quick. I don't know. I don't know if this is changing the screen or not. Okay. So I'm gonna say, and this is one of our main classes. This is, like I said, like 900 people. But I'm gonna look it up right now just to be sure. The physical requirements, character. Right, so they don't need a high school or a GED for transportation maintainer too. I'm gonna say there are a number of other classes that are like that also. So basically, again, this is the skill sets we're looking for are to, maintain the roads and the highways and different types of things. So it is an opportunity for people who may not have that formal education to do that. Of course, right now you need a CDL, so you do have to have licensure type stuff and that type of stuff.
Okay, so as a follow-up to that, because I'm with the workplace and our program is called Career Connect, and we have over 47 participants that are either currently in training or have graduated from the CDL training with the CDL A or B.
That's
And the
great.
challenge, yeah, the challenge that we've been having is getting them actually into the industry without having any driving experience at all. So is this something that you could recommend, or is there a process where maybe we can refer or have them apply to be able to get into the industry? Because that has been a challenge for literally all of our graduates.
Yes, and so I think that's a partnership. So you're saying basically they've been through the CDL school through Nets or through Allstate or whoever down. I think you're down on the Fairfield County, right? The
Yes.
workplace Bridgeport.
Yes.
And so they've got the certification, they got their license, but they're not driving right now.
Yes.
So
Or they've never driven before.
They've never driven before. So that is something we should talk about, because in the end, they're applicants, and for next month's group especially, because I used to do District 3, which was the 95 corridor. When I had a vacancy down there, I actually had to run that district for HR for about a year. And it's a very hard place to recruit for. Probably one of our hardest places is Fairfield County, Darien, Westport, those locations that we have down there. So, that's something that we can explore. I think that's part of the pipeline that we talk about, because you're telling me you've got 47 people with CDLs, and maybe, whatever related experience, not driving. But they can't get into the industry because people want them to drive. And so we now have our own CDL. So we built our own CDL training in-house, which we're starting to do, which we're going to do with the apprentices. So the apprentice may be a great place to start. That's probably not going to get off the ground till about June or so, hopefully. But in the end, yes, I'd love to talk to you about that. I think there are things that can be done there.
Thank you. So I guess I'll email you.
Yeah, email. Yes. My email is dan.callahan@ct.gov, and I can put that out there later.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And your name again?
Oh, my name is Cordelia Gomez.
Cordelia Gomez. Okay. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Carlo, I know you had your hand raised. Maybe the question was answered, or maybe you had you wanted to plug in, Carlo.
Yeah, I think Dan was doing such a great job, but I just wanted to chime in, as long as they get their master application in, and then as they see the job specs, let's say they need extra certificates, as long as they've done the application, they can do things early on before actually getting to the final stage. Because what it usually ends up happening is people take training and certificates, and then they go out searching for a job with that in hand, and then there's just a whole lot more that needs to be done. So the more that can be done up front, and as you mentioned with the CDL, having that is just a huge win. So like Dan said, I think we could probably do something there. But let's say they don't have their CDL, they can work towards that and still have their application in, so that by the time they complete it, they can get into the cycle. So it's really about making sure that your clients see what's out there. If they need extra skills, take their appropriate training programs so that it'll coincide with when they complete it, to then actually have the application go through. So it's trying to do a lot of the pre-work before they apply.
And I think this is an opportunity. And Carlo, I know you're familiar with the workplace too, because you've talked to me about it. And I wasn't really familiar with the program until recently, when Carlo and I I think Mohammed, you were involved too, in talking about it. So that is, that's a primary spot. We're looking for CDL drivers. A lot of people are. It's a chicken and the egg thing where, okay, I got my license, but now nobody's let me drive, that kind of thing. And so there's stuff to brainstorm on that. I think that can really be valuable for both sides on that. Great question. Thank you.
Right. We spoke about this in the past, Dan, about this situation of not having the CDL yet, but can they still be considered or be in the queue until they fully earn their CDL? So that's maybe that kind of like shrinks the time for them, for all parties a little bit, and maybe we could have like a better outcome that way.
Well,
but I know it's not solved yet, but we're still keeping.
I'm thinking about that, but also I will say right now, the seasonal workers that are out there, there are openings in Darien, there are openings down there, Milford, Darien, that corridor, and so it's a low-paying job right now. I think it's 15, whatever the minimum is. For our seasonal workers, go from May through September 1st or so. But that's a good way to get your foot in the door and learn stuff, and you don't need a CDL for that now. So if you're in classes, I would say look at those seasonal workers that are open until April 25th for repair, and April 26th, I think it closes for the maintenance garages that are all over the state. Those are great opportunities if you got some mechanical abilities, or if you are interested in becoming a maintainer. It's like a test run for us and a test run for you. Are you going to, to work in the garage and ride along and do garage work and road work. That's not necessarily driving as a seasonal worker. That can give you the flavor that you want for you, and a flavor for us of, okay, this is somebody who really wants to work. That once you get that CDL, you'll have a front foot in the door. So I would encourage those people that are in the program to maybe put in the seasonal worker. It doesn't pay a ton, but would also, it can lead to a $26, $27 an hour job. So
Noted.
With full benefits. So
Right. I know Jill Watson from Workforce Alliance had her hands up. I'm not sure if
we get plenty of time. Yep.
I just turned your microphone on, Jill, if you still had a question.
Yeah, it was actually more of a comment. I just wanted to say, Dan, just to, be clear that we have workforce boards, of the 4 or 5 workforce boards around the state have been working on the Career Connect grant, and each of us have a very large pool of people who have been going to training and obtaining their CDL. So Any kind of conversations that you want to have about developing, we'll talk about the pipeline later, is how we can make that work, because for us, we're central in the state. So, what other needs do you have in the center of the state along 95 from Old Saybrook to Milford,
Right. And so I'm not saying it's limited to that area, but I know I had heard of that group before, workplace. And so absolutely. I mean, so we are looking all over the state. We're looking to build an applicant pool that's deep. And I think, we have matching needs and we have needs and you have candidates. So to me, it's a natural marriage. And so I'm certainly not just talking about that, but as these questions rise up, I think the more we learn about each other, the better it is to actually get that flow going. And I think, Mohammed is a transportation sector person, that list, I know it's tricky because, as the recruiter, I'm like, okay, give me access to that list. Let me know everything about everybody on that list. But there isn't, they aren't, we don't have, that access, it's a little tricky. Because in the end, I think it's up to the client to let themselves know that, they want to be considered or they don't want to be considered. So, there's some privacy issues there and different types of things too. So, but as this posting comes up in May, I think it's a prime opportunity for your people that have earned CDLs to get their applications in the system. And I'm certainly, from a workforce development point, we're certainly willing to help on navigating the application system, which sometimes can be challenging.
Yes, thank you.
Terrific. Dan, we have a couple questions in the chat.
Sure.
First one from Elizabeth Perez from CRI. Can we have, they have a lot of customers graduating from the WIOA training as a CDL A or B. Can their business service agents connect with your department directly? My answer is yes, if Dan agrees, of course.
I agree.
The purpose of this meeting is to kind of reinforce these relationships and ensure there is a line of communication directly with DOT. The second question from Kimball Branch, Workforce Alliance. Can we obtain a copy of the presentation slides reviewed today? Also, we can share that.
Sure. Yep. I have sent it to you guys. So, yep.
Terrific. And Jeff, we have, I believe, someone raised their hand.
Oh, yes. I know, Jill, your hand went back up. I wasn't sure if you had another comment.
No, sorry. I was trying to click on I was clicking elsewhere and I clicked on the wrong thing. And then I was like, no, lower my hand. Sorry.
That's okay.
Still happens to me, Jill. I totally understand. Okay. Do we have, I think, maybe, yep, we're all set. We can proceed, Dan. If anyone has any questions, feel free to keep them coming.
Sure. And we'll stop after the slides if anybody has any questions. So, the basics of applications are on the previous slides. One of the key things I want to talk about from an HR perspective is the required and preferred qualifications. Those are really important, how they fill them out, because sometimes, especially in jobs that we get a lot of applications for, we have to make decision on who gets in an interview and who doesn't. Because if 300 people apply for a position and we've got 2 positions, we can only do so many interviews. So we, a lot of times, sometimes we'll send them for RQs, which we call RQs in the system. We'll send you out a secondary application where you've got to answer 7 questions about your experience or whatever it may be, 5 questions, 7 questions, 8 questions. And then we winnow down the list from 300 to 30 interviews or whatever it may be, something manageable that we can do. So what they put on the applications is important. So once you get in and get your master application, as we guide candidates into the system, key aspects to review when filling out. So I used an example in February when we did this from a transportation maintainer 2 posting, which is, the one that's coming up that is one of our main big recruitments that we put out quarterly, usually for statewide, because we're always hiring transportation maintainer 2s. Requires a class A or B CDL license. So we require really a B as a minimum. So if it doesn't have to be an A, most of our people upgrade it, only our higher level specialized people end up with A's that we really need, that are required for their jobs. So to drive the 9-ton dump trucks, basically, which is our fleet, our main vehicle of our fleet for maintainers, you need a Class B. So we want a tank. So when you guys are putting them through the training, key thing for us is we need a tanker endorsement because we spread chemicals in the winter. So that requires a tanker endorsement from the Connecticut DMV. And then air brakes, they need to be able to operate air brakes also with these trucks. So those are the two key kind of kickers on the licensure piece for transportation maintainers. What we had on our last posting was experience with snow removal. So if they've done, private snow removal, you could put snow shoveling on there maybe, but basically it doesn't have to be with a big, CDL truck, but with a pickup truck, whatever it may be. Experience in landscaping, that's a variety of, types of jobs that are out there that they could have done. Anything construction related. Experienced driving CDL vehicles. So that was kind of the question before, is that, if they didn't have any experience with the CDL vehicles, would we still consider them? Yes, we will, but there will be better candidates probably out there. And so that is still a chicken and the egg type thing. And we can talk about how we develop that. Experience working with heights, sometimes they have to go up onto elevated areas, under bridges, under different types of things. So, that kind of stuff, those are all beneficial. So if they've got any of that, they put that on their application, that kind of, gives them a little bang as far as when we're reviewing 100 applications, those are the kinds of things we're looking for. So anything that relates to that job, when you see it in the spec, there will be a section in there when they put the job posting up that says preferred criteria. That's really, if they've got a master application, they should take that application that they have and fine tune it to address everything they have that kind of meets that preferred criteria, because that's going to be the cutoff for interviewing, especially in very popular jobs. So I hope, I don't know if that generates any questions, but that is kind of an application key from a human resource standpoint. That's very important what their application says on it, instead of just filling in, I worked for Joe's Garage from, December 1st, 2021 to December 1st, 2023 for 2 years. I worked there, but they don't put any duties. They don't put anything they did. They just do the bare minimum on the app. They really should try to put in what duties they did at Joe's Garage that match up with what we're putting on the preferred criteria. And that gives them a leg up on the interview process. Okay. Preparing for the interview. So you get an interview. Okay. So this is the key point for the candidate. They get into the interview and they, meet with the panel of, say it be for statewide, we'll have 3 garage supervisors sitting on that typical panel that'll be asking for all the garages for, a basic set of questions. That is asked of every candidate comes in the state of Connecticut. Every candidate gets asked the same questions during the interview. We set up our interview structure to meet equal opportunity requirements. So we're required to have a script for an interview, basically. And so our 10 questions to Muhammad will be the same 10 questions that Thursa gets. And then we judged all the candidates based on that criteria of whatever those questions were. So my advice to the candidates would be find out all you can about the job that you're applying for. So if you know somebody who works for the state of Connecticut DOT, or or you want to read up on what that job does, or read the job spec, or read get yourself informed on what we do, and then how are you going to, as a candidate, express that to us as to why you're the best candidate. Because I've done this and that, I'm very interested in this. So it is a little bit getting ready for the interview. It does, really help to be prepared for it. People that come in and don't know why they're applying for the job, or, I went into my first interview in the state of Connecticut and the guy took me aside afterwards. I didn't answer the question coming right out of college. you know, why are you interested in this job? You know, I didn't really know. He said, kid, you better find out why you're interested in this job. Because, you know, that's your chance to basically say, this is why I want to be a maintainer. This is why I want to be whatever it is you are to be. And that's important that you show that. And so that you're interested in a job, you kind of want to know as much about the job as you can, and that you've researched it a little bit before you've come. What are the duties and positions, and what are some of the examples you have of similar experience or situation? Same thing, match it up. You know, what do you have that you bring to this job that you think they need? You know, including work ethic, including different types of things that you've done, and including different types of work experience that you think fits the position. Why would you be the best candidate for this position? Be prepared to answer that question. You know, sell yourself. You've got to be able to sell yourself coming in, and then your references, line them up. You know, so you know when you come in and you've had 2 past jobs or whatever, you know, make sure you touch base and you've given the right names and the different types of stuff on that for the people to contact that are going to be good references for you, because we do check references. You know, after the interview, you can interview great, but if you've got poor references, it's going to be very hard to get the job. Does that generate any questions? Okay, and
No,
so
I just want to say that's the interview readiness is very, very critical, and I think all my colleagues here in the field would agree that those tips are very important to the population we serve. So I just wanted to thank you for that. But the reason we're doing this to help us all be informed about the process that you have at the Department of Transportation, because I can see us all, you know, planning for a statewide information session for the job seekers in the future. So we're addressing this. We're going about this in an organized fashion. First the staff, then maybe plan for a job seeker public-facing info session to help folks be informed as well. So thank you. I'll let you proceed.
I think that's a great lead in, Mohammed, into the last couple slides here. Basically, because it is. I did want to try to brainstorm, and the first time we kind of, you know, I kind of went long, and we got cut off after 1 hour on the Zoom. So that Mohammed has given us extra time today. But that is really to talk about the types of things that we can do as far as a strategic partnership that benefits us, benefits your clients, benefits you as a job centers, you know, for the missions. And our mission is to have a good, stable workforce that is ready for the future. We've got a lot of demands on us in transportation. We've got quite a mission that has come, especially out of the pandemic and the infrastructure money that came falling out of trees on that, you know, for all of us, I think. For the job seekers, I put in for that grant that you guys were talking about with OWS, and I was kind of told state agencies can't really do it. It wasn't really geared towards us. But that's when we were put in touch with Capital Workforce Partners as a partner just before I retired. We had put in for that grant because we were going to do CDL training. We've done it on our own since then. But that was one of the key things. Yep.
Sorry, we have a hand raised from Thursa Hinson.
Sure. Thursa, how are you out there?
On?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So I just wanted to touch a little bit because I know, Dan, you talked about the CDL and the Class A and B. I also wanted to let everyone know it's also highway maintenance. So not only are we looking for candidates who have a CDL, but they're part of the functions of the job also includes maintaining the highways, fixing the guardrails. They may have to pick up dead animals. So there are other components as well. I'm out in the field, so a lot of times when people apply for the job and then they start working, they think it's only driving on the highways, but it's not just driving the highways. It's not just plowing the roads. It's also maintaining the roads. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone understands that it's also part of maintaining the highways for the transportation maintainer too as well.
That's a great point. And Thursa's out there directly hiring people into District 1. So she's got, basically Hartford County and a little bit of Middletown. So that is, that is a key component. It isn't just driving, because that's true. People sometimes, we advertise it now because of the CDL requirement. We changed the way we did it when Thursa and I got here, to CDL highway worker to better explain what, because when you post transportation maintainer 2, that's not how that's what I call it on the slide presentation, because that's the official job title. However, when we posted, it's called CDL driver highway worker. So the CDL pops first because we want them to know they have to have their CDL. So that is, it's key, because it's not all out there just plowing roads and stuff. It is also, we do a lot of summer work, paving roads. You see us out there all the time. And in the summer, that's pretty much a lot of what we do, a lot of night work, a lot of overtime work, fixing roads. So really good point, Thursa. Thank you. Okay, and so, the missions of the partners, our mission is, basically to hire the best workforce we can. We feel, especially with the CDL programs out there, that there are a lot of candidates out there that we'd love to, consider. And so, getting them into the system is one of the key points. I'm going to assume from your perspective, and I'm assuming because I don't know exactly the nature of your job. I'm learning more and more about it as we go through the last several months. But basically, it is to place the clients, the people that come to American Job Centers, into jobs. And I know, Mohammed and Dan have made it kind of dawned on me after our last presentation that we as a state are kind of slow. And your people need immediate jobs a lot of times. And so that part of getting the queued system together is going to be part of, how we can, how we hire more timely. The state has to post for 2 weeks. Then we have to set up interviews for, 50, 60 people. For maintainer 2 is probably about 150, 200 people sometimes. And so that takes a long time, and we have to interview everybody before we make our final selection because of the procedures that we have. So it can take 4 to 5 months to hire somebody from the original job posting. And so that situation with your clientele, a lot of times they may have gone into another job, because they have to take a job. They're with you because they need a job. And so if we can't deliver for 3 or 4 months, that becomes an issue, I think, for you guys. And that really dawned on me after our last session. And so part of that is to make that a quicker, better process for us. But it's tough because the state has a lot of regulations.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there.
It was a huge light bulb after you talked. I called Carlo after you guys talked to us, and I'm like, "Oh, I get it." We are a little bit of a square, a square peg on that. And so, we want to do, have as good a communications as we can. We're sending Mohammed our job postings now every bi-weekly, every week, I guess now, with Kayla. I don't know. I was out most days earlier this week, so I don't think I got that out to you. But I think Kayla's also sending it to you too, Kayla Jones. So we want to try to get our jobs out there, and if we can make a wider distribution list, we'd love to. So that may be something we can do, just to show you every week what jobs we have. We're in CT hires. I've been on CT hires, so it's a lot of pages. So I don't know that, as far as grouping, we group our job openings every week. We have a distribution list that we send out on Mondays or Tuesdays that show the jobs that are open right now. And so, that's something we try to send out to different parties. And we certainly, if you've got people that want to be on that list, we can widen that list.
Absolutely. And Jeff, if you can announce or put in the chat, as a panelist, I don't see myself being able to put Dan's email address. If you are able to either put it in the chat for everyone to see or email everyone Dan's email address. That way they can start receiving, if they're not receiving already, the job postings that DOT has. We need to make sure that happens as soon as possible.
That would be great. So if you reply to whatever they send you to my address, I'll be the gatekeeper to begin with, and you know, as we, yeah, I've got a pretty good pipeline list that we've developed with different organizations. I'd be happy to add you guys to it and you know, widen that net. So that's part of the communications process. You know, identifying key programs and opportunities, like we did talk today with workforce and with Jill's suggestions. You know, I've got no problem meeting, you know, as we go through it monthly or whatever you want to do, to try to, you know, coordinate with the partners as to what's going on with us. Especially as the apprenticeship program comes in, I'm kind of shepherding that through as my last year. I got an extra year as a retiree to, you know, we're trying to give birth to that program. It's the first executive branch apprenticeship program that's ever been done. And there's 6 different departments that have to sign it. There's a lot of legal stuff that's gone into it. So I wanted to get it off the ground by the end of February, but we're almost there now. And I'm hopeful that tomorrow will be the key point of getting that executed. But certainly to keep in contact, and if we want to have some standing meetings, we've been doing these every 2 months now, it looks like, and that's fine with me to do presentations to different people. We can do different presentations based on needs or wants, or if you guys have stuff you want to translate to us. Establishing and maintaining key connections, scheduling follow-up meetings and events, application registration sessions. So when we do the Transportation Maintainer 2 next month, you know, I'd be happy to come out and maybe some of our other staff come out, you know, to a couple different locations. I don't know that we can be everywhere, but you know, that's something that we can do, and we can definitely be of assistance as you're trying to get people enrolled in the system. You know, we're available. You know, I see that as part of our job in workforce development and recruitment. And so basically that's creating a pipeline. And so that's coordination and timing of outreach for upcoming postings. So again, I think May is a critical point. Weekly job, we just talked about distribution list, matching qualified applicants to positions. So we don't know your applicant pool. So for different types of positions, you guys are going to know them best. So if you see positions and we distribute, you know, DOT positions, and you've got people, you know, you think that are good fits for us, that's good to know, you know, that is, you know, don't be afraid to point that out. By letting us know that, you know, people you feel that are qualified have applied. And that's it. And then I put some resources on the slide presentation. There are videos that DAS has done to help you apply. If you get stuck at any points, they've been trying to put out educational videos on building your master applications. The key thing when they get their master application in, they can sign up for job alerts for specific jobs. So if they're, you know, if they're a nurse or they're a, you know, clerical person or they're whatever, they can check off all the jobs that they want to be notified of. That will automatically be sent to their email, that every time an office assistant comes up, they can, you know, get that, or every time Transportation Maintainer 2 comes up, they get that posting in their email box. So with the new system that we started in 2017, we've really enhanced our ability to target applicants based on their jobs. So the jobs that they're interested in and the locations that they're interested in. So that will send a job posting to them. So that'll remind them, hey, ooh, there's another job, and this one's with Department of Environmental Protection. It's a job I'm interested in. I can put in, it's open till April 30th. I'll put in today. You know, that kind of, those job alerts are key. They're great things to sign up for. You know, we do it in human resources. We used to do it, you know, if you get an HR job, send me the posting. Same thing for any kind of occupation. Okay, and those are just links there that are on the PowerPoint. They should link up when the PowerPoint gets sent out to you. Okay, that's about all I have. Any questions, anything anybody would like to talk about, or I don't know. We do got some time, but I don't know. I can't see if anybody's got their hand raised or anything.
Anybody, do you see that in your chat? I don't see anything
And we
coming
don't
up.
have any hand raised at the
Okay.
moment.
Great. All right. Well, thanks a lot. It's been great talking to everybody. And if you got any questions, please email me or, you know, my phone number is 860-594-3156. And I'm on Teams also.
Terrific. Well, on behalf of the CWP team, we want to thank everyone, all four corners of the state who joined us on this call. As I said in the beginning, this webinar is recorded, so it'll be saved as a resource. We just have to figure out the logistics, how to share, because it's going to be a large file. So I have to figure out whether this is going to be saved on some USB flash drives and mailed to each American Job Center, or so that you can upload it to your cloud, make it available to the staff and the job seekers as an ongoing resource, and maybe as a parting gift for Dan's retirement, we can do this for the job seekers all across the states, and make this info session one more time available to them as a way to celebrate an employer spot.
That'd be my legacy.
Yeah, that'd be the legacy. Well, this was great. I like the transparency. We know the challenges that are there, but we also know the opportunities that are there. And if we can impact change, it'll be fabulous. We always pride ourselves to move at the business space, and we would like to do that. But it's gonna take a village, and I couldn't be more thankful and grateful to everyone that joined us on the call today. Carlo, Tersa, Dan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mohammed.
And everyone else.
thank you.
Thank you, Jeff, for facilitating this as well.
Yes, thank you, Jeff.
you.
Yes, that's great.
The slide deck will be shared as well. I believe everyone sees and has Dan's email address to start receiving and be on that distribution list for all the jobs DOT has available that are shared on a weekly basis. With that, thank you so much, and see you all soon.
Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
Thank you.